Sexyy Red constantly enters the scene with lust, flesh, and some shock value. But what happens when that's the foundation? What happens when a persona is built not on talent, not on depth, not even on personality, but on vulgarity so loud that it drowns out the possibility of anything else? Sexyy Red is the product of a long, twisted chain of exploitation repackaged in 4K with lashes, wigs, ignorance, and unapologetic one-liners. And we're kinda sick of it.
Me too, bestie. Hell, me too.
Some call her an industry plant. We just call her a hot, stinking mess. But before we dive deeper into today's video, don't forget to scoop up something to munch on at rrgsnacks.com, our online concession stand that has an assortment of applewood smoked bacon jerky, freeze-dried goodies, and butter toffee peanuts. Janae Naira Wary, better known as Sexyy Red, was born in St. Louis, Missouri, and first gained attention in 2018 thanks to her viral track, 1,000 Jugs. In 2021, Rebel Music, an independent Miami-based label and management company, signed her to a record deal. The label's A&R exec said, "Once she got off the plane and I heard her voice, I knew she was a star. Like, her voice, it just tells you who she is."
The bar is in hell, child. Way down there. That's where y'all setting the bar at, Sexyy Red? Okay. All right. Any of us can be a star then. The bar is way down there.
In the years that followed, she released several singles, but it wasn't until January 2023 that she broke through with her mega hit called Pound Town. In the lyrics, Sexyy Red raps about the color of her pink fish taco and her brown dookie shooter.
Nasty ass little thing, just straight nasty.
The track was a huge success because of her raunchy and freak nasty delivery. Since then, she has collaborated with other artists, including Nicki Minaj, DaBaby, Drake, Justin Bieber, and NLE Choppa. She has also had success with other songs, such as Sexyy, which was released in July 2023. Each verse is saturated with hypersexual lyrics, glorified promiscuity, and an unrelenting focus on boot-knocking as the central theme. Music journalist Robin Mawat described Sexyy Red's music as pussy rap, a subgenre of rap where women embrace their sexual prowess in the face of the patriarchy and misogyny common in the male-dominated rap world.
This is a mess. Has everybody collectively lost their damn minds? I mean, just, as a whole.
She took things to a whole new level when she released her lip gloss brand. She told Complex magazine, "They was clowning me for these names, but when I was selling it, it sold out and went crazy. I got one called Nut, and it's the color of some nut. I got one called Gonorrhea. It's green like gonorrhea. I got one called Yellow Discharge, Pussy Hole Pink, Booty Hole Brown, Coochie Juice. Coochie Juice is clear with silver glitter. It's cute."
This a joke, right? Ain't it? Somebody please tell me this a joke. She playing, right? Is she playing? Y'all didn't buy that. Did y'all buy that? Raise your hand in the comments if y'all bought that mess. Because we judging over here. We judging each. Raise your hand.
That wasn't her only controversial moment. In October 2023, she endorsed Donald Trump for U.S. president.
But once he started getting black people out of jail and giving people their free money, oh, baby, we love Trump. We need him back in office.
Yeah, a little bit of free money goes a long way.
We need him back. Because, baby, them checks.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, them stimulus checks. Trump, we miss you.
Not long after, an intimate footage featuring the rapper getting raw-dogged surfaced online, and the video confirmed that her love tunnel is not pink, like she had previously claimed.
Bestie, you need to quit, girl. You messy as hell.
Online chatter suggested that Sexyy released the footage herself since it was shared on her Instagram stories. Some even suspected she was using the video to distract from the backlash she received after endorsing Trump. It quickly became clear that Sexyy was leaning into shock value to keep the conversation going, and she didn't seem to mind if the attention was negative. Because for most narcissists, for most celebrities, any attention is better than being ignored. And thankfully for Sexyy Red, the industry doesn't just allow this version of black femininity, it rewards it. But there are young girls and boys watching and listening. They're memorizing lyrics about acts they barely understand, reciting them like gospel. Slowly, they may begin to reshape their self-worth around a narrative designed for someone else's profit. The next generation, whose brains are still developing, is being fed lyrics that distort the meaning of love and intimacy. Sexy feeds directly into the long-standing hypersexualized stereotype of Black women that has existed since slavery. Everything about her echoes the same script that has historically portrayed Black women as wild, insatiable, and available. While she leans into that caricature, she becomes another body on display for an audience that has always fetishized Blackness while refusing to humanize it. And the most disturbing part is how this stereotype is no longer pushed solely by outsiders. It's now internalized, monetized, and broadcast by the very people it was designed to degrade. People love to say, but Lil' Kim, Trina, and Foxy Brown did the same thing in the 90s and 2000s, so why is it wrong when Sexyy Red does it now? Well, on the surface, it might seem like a fair comparison. They're all bold, raunchy, and unapologetically sexual. However, the truth is that the cultural landscape that gave rise to Lil' Kim, Foxy, and Trina, and the one that Sexy exists in now, are two entirely different beasts. Let's take Lil' Kim, for example. She didn't just rap about being used as someone's creamy juice dumpster.
Bestie, what the hell? Girl, you out of control.
She flipped the male gaze on its head during a time when hip-hop was dominated by men who boasted about women like trophies. She became the fantasy, the villain, and the queen all at once. Her hypersexuality was jarring, yes, but it was also subversive. It challenged respectability politics. It disrupted the good girl versus video vixen binary that Black women had been forced into. And behind her image was a carefully layered persona that included pain, survival, and control in a male-dominated industry. Sexyy Red, by contrast, exists in an era where hypersexuality has been so deeply commodified that it's now expected. What's left is a stripped-down, viral-ready persona that feels forced. We're no longer witnessing a challenge to the system. We're watching the system consume itself and call it empowerment. Now, we already know some of y'all are already in the comments hooting and hollering, talking about,
leave Sexyy Red alone. She's so authentic. A lot of Black women voted for her Trump. She's so real. I love her. Bestie, you right, because I see them dumbass comments already. Already, honey.
We are being told that this is just Sexy being sexy, that she's not playing a character, she's just raw and unfiltered. But that narrative falls apart under scrutiny, because when Black women enter the industry without that image, they are often ignored, shelved, or told to spice things up to get attention. So what appears to be freedom is actually coercion from the powers that be. There's a psychology to playing into this role as well.
Let's go, Professor. School us. School us, honey.
When you come from a place where no one ever handed you power, attention starts to feel like currency. And when the world finally applauds you, even for the wrong reasons, it can be intoxicating. Over time, it becomes a performance that can't be stopped. What's even more chilling is that the same executives who signed these artists would never let their daughters perform this type of music. For those who are profiting from her, Sexyy Red is seen as a product, and products are often considered replaceable and disposable. This is why she's not being groomed for longevity. She's here to make the higher-ups as much money as possible before the next it girl walks into their offices. The very thing that made her famous is the same thing that will eventually box her in. Because what will her career look like when she's 40, 50, or even 60? When the signs of aging take a toll, when the shock value is no longer shocking, and when the genre gets burned out, Sexyy Red will be a blip on the pages of music history. Record executives should be ashamed of what they purposely ignore. Because for every Sexyy Red, there are dozens of Black women with real artistry, versatility, and storytelling power who are being overlooked because they don't fit the mold. So what's next for Sexyy Red? Is there a way out? Maybe, but it requires a level of self-awareness that's hard to develop when you're constantly being told you're winning. When money is flowing and headlines are hot, reflection feels like a threat. What she needs to learn is that there is power in sexuality. However, there is also power in boundaries and in knowing you don't have to be a hot, stinking mess to be unforgettable.